Hello, today I'm going to talk about the lottery enrollment system across all private schools in Shanghai, China. So, the lottery enrollment is in 2020, March 11th, the Shanghai Municipal Education Commission said that all special student enrollment is going to be canceled and replaced with a computer random enrollment, aka the lottery system. So, what is the lottery system? So, over here is a recruitment plan of a private junior high school in Shanghai. This recruitment plan is given to the private school by the Department of Education, so basically the government. What they'll do is they will tell you what kind of kids can you recruit to your school and how many kids are you allowed to recruit. If you have too many kids who apply for your school, for example, 15 faculty children apply, but they only accept 10, what they do is they take those names and they throw them into a random name generator on the computer. The 10 names that pop out are the 10 names allowed into the school, whereas the other 5 have to find something else. Now, to understand how this policy came to be, we'll have to go back all the way to 1986, when China enacted the 9-year compulsory education policy. This ensured that all kids from grades 1 to 9 had access to free education. This did, however, leave open grades 10 to 12, and this is where private schools began to prepare students for the college entrance exams, or the Gaokao. By 2017, the private schools were in full force, and of the top 20 best schools in Shanghai, 84% of them were private schools. So this meant that parents were trying to get their kids into these private schools, and this caused really high demand. And so private schools began having entrance exams and entrance interviews. China, trying to mitigate this, passed laws to help get rid of the discrepancy between public and private schools. So in 2017, they said the enrollment periods between public and private must be the same. In 2018, they implemented the lottery system in Xi'an private schools. In 2020, they banned all entrance interviews and exams to private schools. And in 2020, they then implemented the lottery system to Shanghai private schools. Now, this has its strengths and weaknesses. First, its strength is it promotes equal opportunity regardless of your status. So, in theory, you can no longer buy your way into a prestigious private school. It does remove these cram schools, which can be so drastic as parents sending their 3-year-old kids to take mock entrance exams to get into these private schools. And it does remove a weird phenomenon known as 学区房, where parents will buy tiny apartments near the school so that they have an address in the same school district and thereby gaming the system. The weaknesses, however, is it drastically removes parents' choice of education. This lack of choice creates a lot of anxiety and uncertainty in their child's educational future. In extreme scenarios, if you are not Shanghainese, let's say you live in Beijing, for example, you are not allowed into public schools. So, if you are trying to get into a private school and you do not get admitted because of the lottery system, you will be forced to go back to your hometown and go to public school there. So, this is a relatively new policy, so we don't really know the full effect, but we can look at Xi'an for some help as they've had this policy in effect for 5 years now. What we've noticed in Xi'an is that the applications into private schools have drastically gone down because the uncertainty is not something that parents can deal with. On the good side is that the percentage of acceptance rate has gone way up just from the lack of applications. How I've seen this policy affect my school personally is we've seen a big limitation on our enrollment numbers. Whereas previously we've had 8 classes of first graders, now, thanks to our new enrollment plan, we are only allowed to have 5 new classes of first graders. This also gives our school less control of our school culture. This is more obvious in schools like dance schools, acting schools, art schools, where they're trying to interview for a specific skill. If they're no longer able to do those interviews, now they don't have students who are particularly apt in those areas. And also, this causes the school to have to increase resources needed for struggling students. Whereas before, the school would only pick high achieving students, now we also have students who may be in the special needs spectrum or are struggling academically or might need counseling or additional school support. The effects that I've seen on my classroom personally is it has widened the gap in students' English levels. Instead of getting the students who always have the best English, we now have students from very different areas, some who are entering 4th and 5th grade and they've never been exposed to English before. This, of course, increases the challenge in creating lesson plans when you have students who are reading and writing at a native 4th and 5th grader versus someone who has never encountered English before. But on the positive side, this causes the classroom to have a more diverse background, and as we have learned this week, a more diverse background and perspective can lead to more creativity. And the greater picture of this policy is the lottery policy is just a general trend right now in China's education system. China is attempting to equalize the disparity between the public and private school sectors, and in general, they are increasing the restrictions on what private schools can and cannot do. Alright, thank you for listening to my talk about how the education system is affecting me, my school, and my general community. Bye-bye.